And hello and welcome to another edition of the Kent Holste Podcast. I'm so glad that you decided to click this link. Today it's going to be a little bit different for a podcast, and this is the reason why. As you could tell by the title of this podcast, it's about cancer and my journey through this unexpected, very quick situation that happened. And I don't think it still has hit me about this whole process because I knew there was something going on. I was afraid to check it out, and I refused to go, and it got bigger and bigger, and finally it got painful. Really painful, and it was moving into my thigh with the pain and the sharpness, and I went to the hospital. It was very early in the morning. I believe it was like 2:00, and went to the ER, and there was like one other person there. It was the first time I ever seen that ER as empty as it is. Usually it's jam-packed. And so I was really thankful about that because I didn't have to wait. And so I told them what's going on. They looked at it and they're like, okay, we need you to do a scan, and we also need you to get an ultrasound. And so I did all those, and then I waited about maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then all of a sudden the doctor comes out and says, I need to speak with you in another room. And so we went into this other room, and immediately when the doctor said that, I knew that it wasn't good. And so he pulls me in the room, and he's like, so after looking at your scans, there's definitely something there, and it's not good. It is cancer. And I was just like, whoa. He's like, do you need some time to sit in here and think? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm sure this will hit me later on, which it still hasn't. And, it's just been a crazy ride. And he's like, you need to see a doctor. This cannot wait. You need to see your doctor and get a referral to see a urologist as soon as possible. So this was on a Monday, I believe, early morning. And so immediately that day got in contact, scheduled a doctor's appointment, and on Thursday I saw, I believe it wasn't Thursday, I believe it was sometime in the middle of the week I was able to get in. And so, the doctor, was like, okay, and I happen to know a good place. I have a family friend that works at this office. I've heard nothing but good from there. I want you to go there. And I was like, okay. So I got the referral, got an appointment for that week on, that's when it was on Thursday, that same week. Went in there. Basically, the nurse assistant or whatever took me back, took my vitals, told her that there was the scans. She went to go look at them. Didn't see her again. In fact, the next person to come see me was the surgeon and said, could I visit with you just a moment? So he wanted to take a look at it himself and then basically said, okay, from what we saw with your scans and all that, it definitely is cancer and this can't wait. In fact, I want to get this done on Monday. So let's rewind the tail of the tape here. Started out with early Monday morning visit. Then it was midweek with the doctor getting the referral. Then on Thursday that week, I saw the urologist. Now they're telling me that next week on Monday, a few days later, I would have to have surgery. And I was blown away. I was scared. Like I said, I don't like needles. I don't like all that stuff. It just freaks me out. It gets me high anxiety beyond you could ever believe. And so I had to do blood work. I had to do all this stuff before going to the surgery. And so it was just nuts. And so, yeah, it was crazy. And so that Monday came, we did the surgery, and everything was crazy fast. It was intense. I was scared going into it. And what's funny is when I had my back surgery, they, put you under by putting the mask on you and you pass out. Well, now they do it through the IV. So I'm just laying on the table waiting for them to put the mask on me. And the next thing you know, I wake up and it's done. And it was just crazy. And the craziest part of this whole story is we waited after the surgery, like, gosh, it was almost 2 months for my insurance company to approve another CAT scan to see if the cancer has spread into my chest. And it was very stressful because I was nervous. I was worried because this was the, answer to if I would need surgery again or if I could have chemo or radiation. And, I got the test done and then I had to wait a week or two for the results. And then I had to go back to the urologist to see the surgeon. And I was so nervous. And what made it so amazing on this date is going into this, I was worried, I was afraid, and a manager from my work, not my manager, but a manager of a different area zone or whatever, called and was thinking I was working, but also said, hey, I've been thinking about you and praying for you. And, hearing that really eliminated a lot of that stress going into this meeting with the doctor. And I go in there thinking the worst. I'm probably going to have chemo. It's probably worse than what they're predicting. And then we wait in there for like an hour once we get into the doctor's room or whatever you want to call it. And he comes in and he said, well, I got some phenomenal news. The cancer did not spread to your chest. It's just in your stomach. You're not going to need any form of treatment. So you don't need radiation. You don't need chemo. You don't need another surgery. Yes, it's still in your stomach, but it's not something where it's a big enough worry at this time where we need to do something. He said if I lived on the street and I didn't have a job, I didn't have insurance, then it would be a different scenario. They would probably do treatments at that point. But since I have a job and since I have insurance and all that, he's not worried about it. So at this point, where things stand is just every 6 months, I'm going to have to go in for another CAT scan and blood work and see if anything has changed. And so I got to tell you, through this time, there's been multiple things that have happened. Number one, the amount of people that have, said, oh, I have cancer or I've had cancer has been mind-blowing. Just hearing people's stories of positivity and encouragement has been amazing. It doesn't help that I look at videos and watch worst case scenario stuff, but it was very gratifying to have people like that speak with me and tell me their story. And so it's been one nice thing about it. And then the other thing is the amount of support of people saying they're going to pray or just giving words of wisdom in itself has been amazing. Whether it be family, whether it be friends, whether it be social media friends, it's been nothing more than a blessing, because I think without them, I don't think this would have been the outcome. And the biggest thing is my pastor. My goodness, my pastors. Let me put a plural on that. I get text messages randomly. I get, people from the church asking how I'm doing, and it's just been powerful. And, that's not to be not expected, that you go to church, what do you think? People are not going to be supportive. I mean, come on. But at my church, they've been so amazing. More than what I thought anybody could be. And I'm sharing this because I want people to know it's okay to talk about that you got cancer, whether it be breast cancer, whether it be testicular cancer or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's people out there that need to hear that things are going to be okay. We look at how society plays out things, and they want you to fear the worst. They want you to think the worst. They want you to believe that, there's a good chance that you could have this happen. But really, it all depends on how God's plan is. It's all on how you treat the situation, just like any other thing that happens in your life. You could spend your time thinking negative, or you can think positive. You can believe that everything is going to be okay. You can have faith that God is going to do what he feels is best for your life. Now, I know my outcome is not like everybody else's. There's people out there that listen to this and go, well, my story is not the same as yours. It's not that positive. How can I have positivity during such a huge thing? Cancer is a very scary thing. The one thing that it's done for me is it's made me more humble. Before this, I was very, set in my ways. I would go into my job, for instance, and I would have customers and stuff like that, and they would be all stressed out, and I would feed into it, and it just wasn't pleasant. But now I get upset customers, and different scenarios, and I think to myself, is this really worth getting upset about? Is this really worth feeding into the negativity when there's far more worse things that could be, worried about? So I handle things a lot differently now. I think of things in a different way. And I have a different viewpoint on life. Now, granted, there are still things in my life that I get worked up about and I get upset about. And that's because I am a human. I am a sinner. And by all means, just like on any podcast, I will tell you that I am not perfect. I have fallen short plenty of times of the glory of God. And I have been, in that spot where I've made mistakes. I've said things, I've done things that I'm not happy about and I'm not proud about. And I've always been open that I'm not perfect and that I apologize for the things that I've done. And this is one of those things. Cancer makes you think about the things that you've done in your life. And since 6 years ago, I've had this goal, I've had this plan that I need to, close some open doors that need to be closed. And having cancer, it has made that goal even more bigger of wanting to get that done. There's so many people out there that I have done wrong to, and I want them to know that I'm sorry. So this is the thing that I want to make perfectly clear to you is you could go through cancer and you could go through all the emotions and feelings and be down and upset and blame God. You can do all that stuff, or you can use this opportunity to better your life, to say, I'm going to use this sickness, this disease to my benefit, to where I can end these struggles and battles. Because if something does happen, I don't want to live with myself knowing that I left this earth with things that should have been closed. I don't want people thinking that I didn't care or I didn't feel bad for what I've done. I want people to know that I'm sorry. I want people to know that I'm a better person because of what has happened in my life. And yes, there's going to be people that still doubt. There's going to be still people that question your intentions. There's going to be people that wonder why I'm approaching this the way that I am. But it all comes down to what I feel is best for my journey, my road to where I need to go with what's left of my life. The biggest issue that I've had with having cancer is there's people who think that I made this story up. There's people that I thought were my friends, that I thought were people that I could trust, that I've opened up my life to these people. And behind my back, they were telling people that, oh, he's making this up. Oh, it's not true. It's not real. Oh, if this is real, he should have a second opinion, or he needs this. Well, trust me, I didn't need a second opinion. The proof was right there. And if there's people that doubt, I will openly show you the paperwork showing that I have cancer. There's no lie here. This isn't a joke. This isn't some way to get you guys to feel bad for me. And I don't want people to feel bad for me. I want people to be happy that the cancer has been removed. And I want people to rejoice in the fact that I can live life. I want people to be happy that the worst case is not there now. And that's how we should treat everybody who has a sickness and then they get it treated, and then it gets better. That's a time to celebrate. And you know what's funny? That I've found out who my real friends are through all this as well. Because there's people that will open up and say how they feel and relate and give their condolences or whatever. And then there's people who you think are your friends and go radio silent. People that you think were your bestest of friend, or people that you did things with that you thought, well, of course they're going to support me through this. But when they don't, you go, wow, okay, maybe I was wrong. Do I hate these people? Am I angry at these people? No, I'm hurt. I'm disappointed. It hurts when you lose a friend. It hurts when you have people that make you think that they're your close friend, but it turns out that they're not. The worst part of this is during this time of having cancer, I've had to deal with other things in my life that have been crazy, that I never thought were going to happen in my life. And I've had to make tough, very, very, very tough decisions. Decisions that have caused grief in areas where they don't need to be. And there's been other situations that just don't need to be handled the way that they are. And just when you think things are going good, there's always something there to derail the positivity. Don't let things derail your positivity in your life. If you feel like you're on a hot streak and you're getting a lot of luck after having a strain of bad luck, then, don't focus on the negativity. Just focus on you. Do you. Be with the people that support you and care for you. Surround yourself with that positivity and wear it like a nice warm coat. I don't know if you have cancer and you're listening to this and you're like, yes, yes, yes. Or you're like, I don't know. It's a little bit different for me. There is hope, good or bad. And this podcast is about being in that community. If you have cancer and you're struggling, put it in the comment spot. I'm sure someone will be more than happy to reach out to you and to give you advice. If you're a cancer survivor and you want to share your story of what you went through emotionally and what you did to stay positive through the hard times, do it. There's lots of people that need that sense of, okay, I'm going through that too, and maybe that will happen for me. They need positivity during this time. People who are struggling with health issues, they can't have stress. They need something, that light at the end of the tunnel. They need to see that positivity. They need to see that support. They need to feel that love from other people. So if you know someone who's dealing with cancer, be there for them. Be there for them and connect with them and stay in contact with them. Let them know that you're praying for them. Check up with them and see if they need anything. Because it will make a world of difference. And believe me, I've had that happen through this. And it is a feeling that you just can't replace. And last and finally, a word of advice for whether you're a male or a female. If you sense something within your body that doesn't feel right, go get it checked before it's too late. Go do something about it because you just don't know what it might be. If there's a lump, go get it checked. If there's something that doesn't feel right, go get it checked. Don't be afraid. Because there's people like us that will be there for you, to encourage you, to support you, to do what we can. That's what this is all about, is being a community. So let's do this together today. And as always, thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope that something I said today made you think, made you laugh, made you smile, made you think, you know what? I'm going to do something today to help someone else besides myself. Do that. Let's be a community. Remember to think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't. And I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? And if you see someone who served our country, whether it be police, military, fire, or even the hardworking people in our medical facilities, especially our medical facilities, give them a fist bump, give them a handshake, a high five, whatever you got to do. Slap them some skin. Tell them how much you appreciate them. You never know how much they might appreciate that one random act of kindness. And till we meet again, please be kind to one another. And God bless.